Hello everyone, it's Belle, and today's talkthrough is going to be on What's for Antonin from my EP, The Storyteller. What's for Antonin came from improvisation from one of the late night sessions on YouTube, and what had happened ever since is I liked it so much that I took it away and really thought about it and reworked it to form a complete piece instead of just a motive. It's called What's for Antonin because the first 5 notes that I picked in the beginning of the improvisation was actually a motive from Antonin Dvorak. And so this piece ended up being a tribute to Antonin, i.e. Dvorak. What had inspired this piece and the feeling of this particular piece is the notion of storytelling. I don't know if anyone can relate to this. When you're telling the story, you start to say the words and start to recollect the events. And there's always this point in time where then you remember the emotions of the event and they become more vivid, the story becoming alive itself and reliving itself again. So it's like this magical transformation. Here we go. What's for Antonin? What's Antonin starts with a 4-bar introduction. This kind of introduction is very common in waltzes. In this piece, as well as a couple other pieces in the Storyteller EP, the right hand takes on more of a narrative role. The melodic lines would sometimes feel like it's someone speaking. And in a style waltz, there are some rubato here. So there are some flexibility in the way we play. Rubato is very famously said to be stolen time, but for me personally, what I would recommend is to feel the changes in speed through movement. If you imagine yourself dancing and spinning and moving, where there are lifts and pushes in between the beats. That's what we want to feel. So it's quite organic. Now, when we talk about waltz, well, the first instinct is the... And this will happen later in the piece, but in the beginning, we're going to feel the tempo and the movement more broadly in cells of bars, actually. So we're feeling in one of every bar. And then we enter into the second section. So you'll notice here that the B major cadence wants to go back to the home key, E minor, but it doesn't. Instead, it goes to C major 7. And in a way, this kind of feels like the person is about to finish a phrase, but then they thought about something, and now we're going into kind of a new direction, and the story keeps going. In this section, you'll notice that the poles start to shift a little bit. There's an introduction of the umpapa, the normal waltz beat. And there are a couple of points to look out for. For example, the beat kind of turns around in bar 41, from the emphasis of the first beat being the anchor to the second beat being the emphasis. Now a transition, and now we have a very strong and clear indication of the waltz feeling. enter back into the second type of material, the second thing. It's very similar to the first time we've heard it, except this time it will feel thicker. So places like bar 84, it's more orchestral. So that we enter into a transition, and this section kind of has a montage effect. It kind of changes the scene a little bit from the point where there is a story being told to the feeling of actually physically reliving the story. In this transition, the polyrhythm between the left hand and right hand is very important from bar 96 because it creates this pull and it creates a lot of tension. And from bar 100 to 103, look out for the bass of this run. We need this to ground us. It's like this really grand kind of gesture. And the last two quavers here, it's like a timpani. So take your time, feel free to pull back, but we need to hear because it brings us to the next section. Okay, so let's play. Arrive in H. This is an orchestral moment. We're no longer sitting in the chair telling a story, we are in it. The world opens up and we're there. It's a very orchestral type of writing, so it's quite broad, quite wide. Be very careful with the pedal and the balance between notes as well. Letter I, and this for me is a very joyous section. It's kind of really open-hearted. It's free and it's basking in the emotion and the joy of telling the story. So it's spinning and it's slightly faster. This section finishes on a high. It's kind of an orchestral boom, but it is not a finished cadence actually. We continue. So letter J for me is like the section where we come back to reality after having experienced the emotions of the story. So it carries with us a bit of that tinge that we experienced in letters H and I. The story comes to the end and the camera pulls back. Feel free to ad-lib in the last 3 bars, by the way. That's it. Was for Antonin. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you haven't heard the piece yet, do give it a listen on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, and all the streaming platforms. So, the scorebook is available and the link is below. Thank you for watching. I hope you have liked it. Leave a comment and let me know what you think about the piece. And if there's any other questions, also leave them in the comment below. I wish you all a good day and see you next time.